Hey guys, this is Warboss Fitz, and this week I ended up rolling a 1. I ended up catching tonsillitis. So I'm not going to be out in the garage this week, but that means I have been doing a lot of work inside here. Because I can't go to work, don't want to get everyone infected, really screwed up my sleep schedule. Yeah, I've been stuck at home this week. Yeah, I've been doing some work on the campaigns I want to do for the channel, for the fantasy and the sci-fi settings. I'm not really sure how I should approach this to put it out on the channel for everybody. I'm just gonna word vomit here in what I'm doing. For our fantasy setting, I have a map that I have shamelessly stolen off of someplace on the planet and put it into Google Earth. Removed all the stuff on it and put in some markers. And inside there, those are going to be our main players for the campaign. On the map here, you can see we have our yellow dot. That's just going to signify the Amazonians that are going to be in the rainforest jungle. They are going to be based loosely on wood elves / lizard men. I got the files for them, high-class stuff. Then moving to the east, we're going to go right to the blue dot. That's going to be where the halflings are living. They're just going to be in their own little fertile valley away from everybody else. Not really a major player of the campaign, but I'm going to be using them for, small little one-off missions. Like, I got something scheduled for Thanksgiving for them that I'm printing some models out for. That should be pretty cool. Now let's head up north to the green. That is going to be where I'm going to have the cannibal cult based out of that general area. They were in our last video, and you can get the kind of feel I want to have for them. They're going to be the Havoc Warriors equivalent. I'm going to mix a whole bunch of armies in this to kind of get the feel for different things I want to do. In order to get the different feel for the armies, like, nobody really fits in 100% with the armies that are on the website, on the Army Builder website. So I mixed some different armies. Let's go over to the yellow dot. That is going to be where the Havoc Dwarfs are. They're going to be mostly defensive up in their mountain strongholds. Now, down to the red dot. That is going to be our Swamps of Sorrow. Mostly undead, plus some swamp monsters and some other associated stuff with that. It's all going to be very eerie. And then if we go all the way up into the top right corner, I just put a purple dot there. That's going to be signifying where the Crusade is, which is going to consist of the Order of the Penitents, which I ran in the last game. They're going to be a mix of all kinds of different stuff. Even though I've said this is a campaign, it is more just like a setting that gives me anchor points to pull from. And I can also move the story back and forth, give myself different reasons for these different factions to fight each other, and bring in all kinds of other stuff. As the game goes along, I'm gonna have a whole Beastman army that's gonna show up at some point. For some reason, I haven't made any fantasy orcs yet, which is a crime, considering that, I call this channel the Warboss Fitz channel. You would think I'd have orcs everywhere.
So from this point, the audio was so bad because my voice was going in and out, and I was picking up all kinds of background noise. Time to switch to an AI voice that can actually enunciate, and you all don't have to hear my voice cracking like I'm going through puberty again. Let's move on to the grimdark future setting I have made for future campaigns and games on the channel. This is the star system Lourdes. Located in the galactic southwest, the Lord system is home to the human empire and their allies. It is mainly an agriculture and manufacturing hub, supplying the neighboring systems with food and materiel. It has 3 notable orbiting stations. 2 are trade hubs that move massive amounts of cargo, Silo Station and Gallagher Station. Then the 3rd is a ship anchorage for the sector fleet at High Anchor Station. The system was discovered by a machine cult expeditionary fleet. The system was found to be rich in raw resources, and a mining operation was set up to start harvesting. It had 3 large gas giants that consisted the necessary chemicals to seed the other planets with life. With the 3rd rocky planet most suited to sustain life, its moons were quickly set up as processing facilities, while terraforming procedures started on the 3rd planet, soon named Mason. Gallagher Station was constructed near the system's jump point to facilitate export of material. While terraforming was completed rather quickly on Mason, other celestial bodies began to be terraformed to increase the system's worth to the human empire. The 2nd plant was chosen next. Its rocky surface was pounded flat, while massive ships drained the atmospheres of 2 gas giants. The hydrogen gas was expelled into the surface of the 2nd planet and was set alight. After burning for 100 years, the machine cult built massive atmosphere scrubbers and cleaned the air, converting it to a carbon-rich mix suitable for agriculture. The planet was then named Taruga and became a perfect sphere covered in worldwide agricultural operations. The only parts not covered in fields is a mile-wide band around the equator that houses the atmosphere scrubbers and machine shops. Traveling across its surface are city-sized harvesters that never cease, the humans on board them only knowing an ocean of wheat and the occasional visit from orbital landers that latch on like parasites and drain their grain hopper empty just to return to the orbiting processing facilities. From there, the harvest makes its way to Silo Station then, to wherever it is needed to feed the masses of humanity. The process worked so well that the machine cult and newly formed system government agroformed Taruga's 2 moons in similar ways, only changing the atmospheric conditions to grow different staple crops to feed humanity. On the innermost plant, Ziva, adamantite had been found. This planet has some mining operations, mostly by the dwarf clans, but processing is slow due to intense heat from the local star. Aether and its 2 ice moons are still in the process of being broken down to complete terraforming of the system. Plans are for Solum to be the next planet to terraform after deep mining is completed. In the far orbit of the system, Erebus floats in the void, too dark and cold to be more than a stationing point for research and listening stations. High Anchor was established after the Xeno Wars rolled over the system. The local armed forces combined with the machine cult were able to drive back the beasts just after a dozen years of war. The system took 4 generations to recover and bring itself back to prior production levels. High Anchor would be a stationing point for the sector fleet, a strong point and deterrent for any organized force. There are 2 asteroid belts in the system. These are constantly buzzing with swarms of drones and crewed ships plucking ore-rich rocks and bringing them back to the forges orbiting Mason. Currently, Mason would be considered a hive world, with the population concentrated in megacities dotted around the planet. Each is responsible for its own defense and have organized their own forces that have been on occasion used against each other in a warring city-state situation. The overall system government stationed at High Anchor lets this continue as long as it does not disrupt their export of material to the wider human empire. The system government has been known to crack down on the cities of Mason when it needs bodies to fill production quotas or conscripted into the many penal legions that are sent out to fight in the many wars the human empire is waging across the galaxy. The forges of Smeed and Forksha have completely covered to surfaces of Mason's 2 moons. The fires from their smelting furnaces can be seen from orbit as they process the mountains of ore and minerals brought in from the asteroid belts and send war machines to the many fronts of the galaxy at war. The other forces in the system that can be called upon are the dwarf guilds, mining the depths with their hardy bodies, and many drones going where no human would be able to survive. The Blessed Sisters have convents on every planet and city in Mason, one hand outstretched in charity, the other gripping their heavy rifles and holy flamethrowers. The 2 forges in the system have developed a rivalry, constantly trying to outpace the other in production and research. Occasionally, this boils over into hostilities that become everyone else's problem. There are also secretive forces that call the system home, members of secretive organizations that watch from the shadows and conduct research away from prying eyes. Then lastly, there is no official Battle Brother forces stationed in the Lourdes system, but their starships move through High Anchor with enough frequency that their heavily armored troops are not an uncommon sight. That is the overview of the system that most of the games of GDF will be taking place on the channel. I hope you guys like the looks of it, and over time we can turn it into a living, breathing thing that we can call our own. Now, with me being sick, I have also been working on more 6mm armies, mostly because I can sit near the printer and just keep it rolling. So, in the near future, there will be more 6mm games being played, and I can convert more armies over to the 6mm books on the community book section. So far this week, I have finished the Robot Legions, High Elf Fleets, and Titan Lords. More will be coming soon, At this point, I might as well finish making one of each army. It feels so weird doing this on an AI, but I do what I must. Thanks for watching this episode of Warboss Fits. I hope you all are having a great week. May your dice always roll success, and we will see you next time. Bye.